Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have buffed Xin Zhao, who has been more like a number 2 pencil than anything with a spear lately. That is of course a joke that we used long before his rework because he was really nothing for the longest time. That rework just brought him back to life. And for the second game in a row, we have a jungler who is AFK at the start, getting himself some water, some snacks, and whatever mental comforts he needs to navigate the labyrinth of solo queue abuse from his laners. But we have an interesting game in this one. The rune page, though, that isn't so interesting. Absolutely standard stuff, but the AD ratios that he just got buffed, the AP ratio, 15% on the W. I mean, no one's building AP on the for the W, but it is there, and if there's ever sort of residual AP, I mean, you get a little bit extra damage, which is always nice from Baron buffs and things like that. In the meantime, though, let's see how his quintessential and prototypical build changes in terms of just adding a small bit of spice onto his kit, and hopefully a little bit of diving ability will be useful. Now, we are against a Graves. We did not have those lethality changes come through, and I've had a lot of people ask me, what do you think about the Eclipse changes? Just read the patch notes. Don't watch clickbait videos that use PvE data, because you never know what Riot's going to keep in and take out. And if you go into live patch without reading the patch notes and actually what changed, you could be misled, and we don't want to mislead anyone on this channel. Only truth. Only truth. Like the Zara GG Developer Guide you could, download below. Warwick coming soon. 13,000 words I wrote. But Xin Zhao, in the meantime, red Raptors into our blue side. That's a standard 5 camp clear. You could obviously go Grom for level 3 and look to gank top lane. I think in this case, it would have been a really good idea to do so. But obviously with Graves, you kind of know dude's going to look to full clear, potentially 5 camp and cut in. Xin Zhao does have the ability to do Gromp first. Now, I love doing Gromp in these scenarios because it gives you 3. All right, you can always rotate to these things and fall back to your blue afterwards. As we see here, Flash Graves goes through. Very nice skin, actually. Now we're low. Okay, now we will be 3, fortunately, after the blue because it is a 4K minute clear, but we don't get the juice from the Gromp. But, it's not so bad in this situation. I just like having the Gromp as a sort of a go-to and then making my flex decision. Can I finish my 5 camp on the blue? Can I perhaps do something else? But Graves, mid lane gank early. We have him now falling back to the Raptors. They would have seen the Xin Zhao cross the river into this, so the sides rotates. Excellent ward. That's why I like keeping this. I like keeping this warding totem early because it lets you see these things and make plays. Now, obviously, when you see Silas go this way, we want to make sure we take this and get out. So what we can do here is potentially look to fight if we have a numbers advantage, or take it and get out if we have the smite advantage. Unfortunately, we don't. So, Renekton, all engage. Xin flashes in. Double W, actually. That was almost an absolute mouthful to say. That's a double kill. Can we get another stun, please, sir? Can we get something? Silas decides to go in and try and turn it. He does successfully turn it, but in doing so, gets himself poked in the most inappropriate sense. Triple kill early for Xin Zhao. So that early damage buff isn't going to do anything now, but when we have this lead and we can get that early atomization, it will enable our snowball a little bit more as well, but also gives you good damage for squishies later on. So this is gone. We'll go ahead and schnack this baby up. Now, I would actually like us to give up the bottom lane crab, and instead of doing this, and see, this is lazy. We know that they saw us, right? We know straight up that they saw us because we saw the Silas rotate. The Silas just didn't walk around no reason. I would love to go do the Grump, finish the blue side and reset, and then sequence to the bottom lane. There's no real reason for us to back in a position where we know they saw us. And that therein is your Master Tier Korean Elo Fiesta versus your Challenger, which is less likely to happen because they'll recognize it sooner. But overall, a very good early phase. A very fun early phase. Graves obviously goes for the level 3 in the mid lane and then falls back to the top side. I do like those moves, really I do. And now, a little bit of an overstay, and of course, we don't have this camp respawning to 15, which is the other benefit, yeah? The blue and the Gromp will give us the same outcome, but the Gromp then will respawn. Small added experience, definitely more gold that you won't get by taking the blue. Now, Graves is obviously going to use the outside in roll. Go ahead and take that scuttle before falling back to his blue side. That's why we do that. And now mid lane is in base. Their mid lane is in lane, and so basically we can clear this, watch mid lane, and get out. We're not looking to fight here. I don't think it's always intelligent to necessarily hang around to clear those control wards, but keep your eyes on the lanes, know if you can win the 1v1 or if you want to, but he doesn't even bother because, bot lane will rotate, sides will rotate, not worth dying again in the river. Shouldn't have died the first time, but overall, This is what he does. This is what the champion does, and this is why I like him for these kinds of game styles. Now we have the Senna here actually coming out of base, tracking the Graves, expecting this gank, which is why good supports are really fun. But the red team didn't think about that and didn't track the fact that the Xin Zhao is going to be on the bottom side, which they should have. And honestly, great move by the Senna, great job by the Xin Zhao to rotate as well. We will clean that up for 1-0. And in the meantime, the Jinx is just absolutely relaxed on the bottom side. And it's important here, you know, this little investigation, you will kind of know what the Graves is sort of doing, because he's only 28 CS at this point, which is quite low for a Graves because of all the dying and the rotating, and you can track the CS and what side he goes after killing you and doing crabs and so on. So we know this should be available, but also we have a beautiful dive opportunity here with the Renekton. Graves shows top lane with level 4, good anticipation. Again, good warding will always help in the situation. GP activates his ultimate, and we basically decide to go in and dive for it. I'm not always against that. I mean, it's the talent gameplay we covered over a year ago in terms of snowballing. Yeah, I died, but I'm 5-2-0, and I can use that to get way more kills because I know what my champion does and I know the limitations. However, good part thing about the Graves, Twisted Fate is moving, Silas tries to go into stun, too late, and he will fall as well. We see the GP moving, we see the Silas moving, we can see everybody. As support, why I like it, on your team, it's absolutely diseased against you, but Twisted Fate, same thing. That global confirmation of where people are, especially if they're doing random things, is always good. So we're going to go ahead and try to get level 6. We're a bit delayed. So is the Graves. Fiesta. We lost our Raptor camp as well, unfortunately. RNG Scuttle on the bot side. We do want that. Now, if we can secure this, right? Oh, wait a second. Bot lane, yeah, I see. I'm thinking about the video. You always got to look at the F keys, look at your minimap, see where the Silas is going, rotate here. Let's clean that up. We want to try to get level 6. Silas uses our ult before we get to use ult, which is a bit unfortunate. We're very, very close here. Can we do something to get level 6? We can. We kill the Soraka. We flash to reposition. Twisted Fate's moving on down. Flash, stun, yellow card. And we let him have one. I think that's nice as well. So always, yes, look for these things, but don't be greedy about it. Because as soon as you see it, like the Silas and someone moving bot lane in a fight you can clean up, do rotate. I did not anticipate this game to be as killing as it is. I didn't expect a Fiesta, so I thought I had more time to chat about jungle theory, but I didn't. And that's the thing. Being able to make these decisions quickly, in the moment, that's a difficult thing. But we see her Graves on the top side, yeeting up blue, so could we take this, deny him, potentially re-gank, and then do the dragon? Yes, but if we feel like, you know, our bot lane's not well positioned and their bot lane can collapse and just push us off, that's really not worth. We can just secure Mountain Dragon, and the Mountain Dragon in this meta, very juicy, very good. He moves to the mid lane, again, doing work as well, both junglers. Ult by the Ezreal, we'll base here. We have Gore Drinker. We mostly anticipate that he's going to go up to the Herald. Senna understands this, which is why he supports. If you play jungle, you'll be so much better at it. Nice job by the support. We'll rotate and play off of this. So you need to play off of your players. You know, if the Senna isn't doing this and you can kill the Graves enemy jungle 1v1, I just run this down. No, not in a bad way, in terms of I just run in, kill him, take the Herald. But you do have to pay attention to mid. You do have to pay attention to numbers advantages. Do not die for it, please. Graves is holding top lane. And obviously your Jinx is going to be in a rougher situation. That will be a dead Silas also on the receiving end of some nice buffs. We take that. We are at 9 minutes 30. Can we go maybe take a red? Can we contest something here? I mean, obviously Graves is some, we saw him top lane, so basically you're making this move. If you know straight up, you can win 1v1. Twisted Fate is his ultimate as well, so that's Queen's Applause. GP is rotating. Silas will no doubt show up as well. The reset aggro. That's enraging. That's absolutely enraging. Now, do we waste our time doing that? Nah, we use a W over the wall, and we can try and kill the Gangplank. This champion, though, finally, he is dead. And now, basically, we can say, look, does Graves know that we had a reset on the aggro, which means he will go to the bottom side to all his blue camps and look to do something on the bottom lane? Or did he see that, have confirmation, knows these are available, maybe he rotates to collapse, but I don't think that's the situation. Most high elo junglers will just cut their losses and go down. But at the same time, in low elo, you might have this, which is why I'm pointing it out. In low elo, you have to always consider what might motivate them to go make a certain play, whether it's correct or not. You gotta understand a player's motivation, and who better to know that than you, the people of low elo. Try and dodge these. Look for the Ezra ults and kind of just sidestep them. Because, you know, they get vision and so on, and you take a bit of damage. It'd be unnecessary. Now, I love this because obviously we're going to go straight to the bot lane here, anticipating that the Graves is on that side and might try and do something. So, no, that was never going to hit. No point showing that. Sylas obviously can yeet the Twisted Fate ultimate, which is what you're seeing there. Very important to understand that when it gets to Sylas. There we go. Center ult goes through. Doesn't do anything good. Graves should be able to easily clean that up. So, Soraka, you're out of position there. This is not where you want to be. AD ratio buff. Very good, very good. Yes, yes, yes. Do we want plated steel caps or do we want Merc treads? Plated steel caps. This game for sure, because there's so much value in the GP, Graves, and of course the Ezreal. Good to think about your micro matchups in terms of your 2v2s, 1v1s, as well as your general 5v5 sense. At the same time, obviously, they would have seen us go for this. The Sylas uses his TP. I do like going for these plays, but you've got to be able to understand the mechanical outplays necessary. You see this? So many players will make that Herald play, Sylas TPs, and they just all die. And then they're like, well, GG, that was a bad play. No, it's a good play, but you know they're going to send the chess pieces down to deal with you, right? To stop the push, and you have to be able to mechanically outplay it. At the end of the day, that is always a requirement of this game. PvP will always be a factor. So you need to play champions that you understand how to position and use in those scenarios. Always. See, I'm comfortable in my champions in those cases using the Herald and kind of kiting back, burning the TP, they get no kills, we get one, that's beautiful. But if you're not comfortable, you miss skill shots and you miss your spells, then things will go worse for you. And I think we can all agree that we're overstaying just a little bit. Just a little bit. Winter levels, we're overstaying. Jinx, please don't die. Please, Jinx. Okay, we have Twisted Fate showing up as well. Grabbing a kill on the Soraka. Yellow card. Graves is still here. Xin Zhao's like, well, I'm out. See ya. I think there's a lot to be said for how he's playing here in this Fiesta. And I think the Udyr video I just released on the main channel that you will see, we talk about farming junglers and kind of, okay, well, I don't really want to wait around anymore. If you guys die by bad plays, you die by bad plays. But I will get my camps. I will get my experience. I will remain fed. I think that's very crucial as well. 8-2-4. Early game almost completed. I think we can say both junglers played a solid game. Xin Zhao played a better game. Graves was by no means bad. You know, Senna really allowed the blue side jungle to play a certain way, but at the same time, Graves has got to understand how to path to success as well. He's only up 4 camps, which sounds weird to say only, but that's good, you know? That's really, really good for us. Now, at this stage, the dragon's spawning, so you might be invested in these camps. Don't be. Just drive through the high traffic zone of the Raptors, secure that, and on your way to the dragon, you take them, and now you can collapse and do this. And that's the best way to do things. You know, don't think you can greed. Get to the dragon as soon as it spawns, secure it. You know you currently have a bit of an advantage. Senna, this is nerfed Senna, by the way. We'll have to see how that plays out in the win rates. I still think she'll be fine. She's always fine. I mean, I main Senna too from a support position. So, I haven't personally tried it out yet. Warded, we know. We have a good ward here. I like these as well. And I think we need to start pushing the map into their zones. And obviously, there we go. Let's clear this up. Very good. And they see us, though. So this gives them time to collapse. Specifically, if Sylas is ult up for the Twisted Fate. But he does not... Well, he had the Senna ult at that time. Well, that was not a good Senna ult. At all. We'll take that first tower now. First tower. We'll take the bot lane tower. Jinx can reset. We are not just patiently waiting. Yep. Pushing the map. See the difference between jungler's motivations. Now, whether or not this is a good play, now, I don't know. I think we can all agree this is not a good play. But you see the motivations of, I have the lead, I need to push, I need to take towers. And you just don't see it on certain lower elo junglers. Most lower elo junglers. Hoggers. And now we play around the team that we helped get fed. You know, and this is the thing. That's why you play for your team and yourself, and then they can make up for your mistakes provided you don't die. And he has, apart from the first deaths, been a little close, but honestly done a great job not sort of straight up inting and making things go a little bad. Hello, can we beat you 1v1, but Soraka is there, so no. Bad decisions. Bad decisions. But yeah, I like this, you know, we want to push the towers, we want to push the map, but do so intelligently, you know, when you have numbers advantages, and we know that everyone's here, don't try and overgreed, but let's just say that that was potentially a limit test of the new buffs and AD ratios. Can we say that? We'll say that. But again, I'm not, that whole phase was not good. This is good though. Outside in rule, we'll go and schnack that baby. Deny the bounty, very good. Fall back to our blue side, we're looking at the map the whole time. We're looking at the map using F keys as well as necessary. You see here Graves on the bot side, so you should always have a look. And Soraka, disgusting. But, you know, I'd take Soraka 10 times out of 10 over a Yuumi. Absolute disgusting inflation champion. I see so many great KDAs with pentakills. I'm like, this will make a good video. Then I see the Yuumi, and I'm like, discredits everything entirely. I don't care if you had the perfect early game, 10 kills, 0 deaths. If I see you have like 30 kills and a pentakill, I don't care anymore because you just have the ultimate safe code. You know, you're cheating death on bad plays because you have a Yuumi attached to you. And I just refuse to talk about team fighting from a jungler perspective, or Xin Zhao, or an Olaf, or an Echo, or something like that, when you have a Yuumi on you, because you don't have to abide by the classical rules of the game, and that's why I hate it. But here we go, now we're full HP, but we're down 2 levels, and it doesn't matter because AD ratio buff. Also, it shows you the big difference between getting the jump on the enemy jungler. So the Graves was up 16 CS when I said that, and now he's up a hell of a lot more. He's up over 30 CS at this point, and that's because the Xin Zhao did this dumb play, and when you're dead, you can't farm. That's tragic. And the Graves just kind of says, all right, thanks for the time, thanks for the push, thanks for the kill, I take your stuff. I mean, he has control, so you have to be very, very careful in the mid game, as Xin Zhao and as champions like this, to not fall into that trap. There are ways you can still push the map intelligently without straight up minting. See, he's wasting too much time. You're not an assassin. But there's, again, nothing else to do. So here I would kind of look to push and collapse, which is exactly what he's doing here. The GP is going in on the Twisted Fate. He's going to orange that. He's going to flash that. We're going to hit that W. We have the Rift Herald activated. Another stun. You can't orange more than twice in a fight. Thank goodness it's already broken as it is. Herald activated. We're going to try and take this tower. Twisted Fate's being cautious, obviously, because of Graves' ult. We are now going straight in once more on the Graves. And this is a good measurement for us. Soraka. Good, even damage. You know, we have a little bit of heals. He has a little bit of heals. But I would have liked to see a nice straight up 1v1. Again, not really not really tracking the Silas. I mean, I'm not either. I'm just like micro-focusing on the fights here. Good ult there by the Soraka as well. And we have the TP flanked by the Renekton. I forgot he's in the game. You guys have to, I mean, I do in-game. You guys have to in-game as well. In these replays, I kind of just micro-focus on things. But you gotta always track the over pushes. Fortunately, our Renekton is 413 and has done a lot of good work. And the GP is 162 at this point. So we call this the throw moment. And that's why I made a video on throw moments in late game decision making and how this can cost you. Definitely a big throw moment. Big, 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 big. It's not difficult to kind of push the tower and don't fight the Graves. Take the tower, use the Herald, watch the respawns, watch the mid lane rotations, and ditch. Leave. Twisted Fate's low. He wants to base. You base as well. Just leave. Live to fight another day. Reset, go get the dragon afterwards. That's what you want to do. But that restraint, as you're seeing, is so different. Hey, round 2? Anybody, any round 2 goers? Yes. Yes, he dashed. The Soraka silence plus the Graves smoke screen are so irritating for melee champions versus those two. But I'm not a fan of this mid game. Definitely watch the video on the main channel I released last week. You know, sometimes you lose games, but you can not through good decision making. And he's kind of just wasting a lot of time losing that CS pressure. He stopped farming. And that's a classic low elo thing, especially when you get a really big Fred jungler. But you're against a GP, and Ezreal, a Silas, and a Graves, and a Soraka. I don't really want to stop farming. I know you have scaling in the Jinx in the center, but as you can see, this gold lead, while it's substantial, 5k, you know, it's less than it was. And you still need to farm it up in the mid game. So this is a great example of junglers that have great early games but having really weak mid games. And yes, sometimes they will squeak through, but sometimes they just will not. They just will not. Right. Silas, Zhonya's, Jinx ult, doesn't matter. Soraka heals. Obviously Twisted Fate is dead. We saw the center get exploded. And now we're just shadowing mid lane. Now it does not feel like we're winning this game straight up, does it? Because this is a GP. This is going to become a menace. And that's because we try to force the map a little bit too much when we didn't have numbers. Just looking to test those AD ratio buffs. And in a 1v1 sense, they work, but the game is not 1v1, which is why it's always funny when you get like an absolute mad monkey Draven, you know, add you after the game, you're like, yo, bro, let's go 1v1. Like that does anything. What does that prove at all? You complete idiot. Totally didn't happen last night. To someone that I know in the Discord. I was watching this. Why is he saying that? Draven Draven mains just be that way. We do have the Twisted Fate activated ult on the Silas, which means they see us. So the Senna E doesn't really do anything, but we can move around. I'm just looking at the map here. What can we actually do? I mean, I think a little bit of patience is now very, very mandatory. I do like to sneak Barons in this case, specifically when people are not grouped up and I am a champion that can do it. Kai'Sa jungle, I can 100%. Let's take that. Always good to take that and leave a ward here. Once you get hit with this scanner, be very careful. This is greedy. If you get away with it, it's not because it's a good decision. You get away with it because the enemy team isn't in a position to punish you, yeah? Obviously, you're a Senna and a Renekton ult. Here's a Twisted Fate, here's a Silas. Yes, Renekton is fed. Yes, Senna is doing a good job. Yes, Jinx can cross-map ult, but if you do not rotate to this as the Xin Zhao, this could end very badly for your team. So playing off of this is important, but at the same time, if they're just gonna straight up die in those scenarios, then I like to just push waves, honestly. It's good to force a fight. It's good to force a fight, but it's a little bit risky when you have no idea where the rest of the team is and they could just be trapping you. Fortunately, it was very, very well played mechanically, and they get away with it, which is, I think, what you're noticing. People like Tyler say, where they just don't do anything intelligent macro-wise. They're just completely PvPing the whole time. Mechanical menaces everywhere. Always trying to prove a point with the mechanics. And I think to a degree that's obviously good, but I'm not a fan of those kinds of plays blind here. I'd like to see everything or push the wave to get vision line control first. And obviously Gangplank is the champion that we want to watch and be careful for. Let's have a look. Ah, we missed a W. Just keep on. You can do nothing because now we have Hex Drinker plus Death Dance plus Gore Drinker. It doesn't really do anything against Gangplank, so this is not a good mid game. But I'm glad I'm showing it to you because a lot of times we have a lot of Smurf games and it doesn't really matter what happens in the mid game. But at this stage, and now they're gonna go for the Baron. Hey, you guys probably recognize this from your Platinum games and low Diamond games. Same kind of macro, same level of you know, nice and smooth and intelligent. Out of position, make the pick before they rotate, exactly force them to turn. Now they've lost one. Now you know the Xin Zhao and the Twisted Fate are going to be up. Twisted Fate can activate. He can join the fight, make it a 4v4. Renekton doing what he can to survive. We have the Senna doing her best in the backline. Soraka ult comes through. Twisted Fate shows up. Blue card, please. And they stop the El Baron, which means we can go neatly, take those once more. They're pushing mid lane. We've got Crashing Wave here. And a lot of souls for Senna. Let's have a look at what she is at, actually, because that's very important. 94, 6 more for Exodia beginnings. Take this dragon, of course. Denying Ocean Drakes to a Soraka is the most crucial thing. I don't care if you have to go Elder. Do not take 3, you know, dragons and then give her 3 oceans. Just do not do it for the sake of, like, we want to play around Soul and not Elder. Just take the Ocean Soul. It's huge for you, especially with the team comp you have. And then look to play around Elder Baron and make sure you can push the map enough to get those things. Here we go. Yellow card hits. We're trapping now. This is really not a good example of a mid to late game that you want to be copying. But I'm still showing it to you because it's important to understand that the mistakes can make you look better than you are. But making the pick here is good. That's what we want. But there's been such a lack of farming, man. You should be on like 230 CS now as a Xin Zhao. Really pushing the map. Jinx is able to kill the Ezreal. We get a stun here on the GP. And we're going to gap close that and kill him up. So Red team also decided, you know what? Blue team's having a really crappy mid game and we're getting back into it. I don't like that. So let's us throw back. Welcome to Zolokyu. This should be a Baron. I hope. Ah. It's a Baron and a kill on the Graves. I admire the desire to steal and I think you should try and go for the steal because if you die, they're going to reset. Nothing's going to be lost really. Your team can handle the decompression and the warding of the jungle here. So that steal's good because you don't lose a game from it. It's just you in isolation. But if you're going to lose a game from it, don't go for it. Live to fight another day. Just live to fight another day. What are we waiting for? 2,300. Ah. I think we should probably think about a GA this game just to not die. But the Randuin's Omen for the Crit-tastic GP as well as the Graves and of course the Ezreal doesn't have any, but the armor will obviously do good things. Seems to be a good buy to me. That's fine. Yeah, I would probably still go in a game where you have maintained your lead. A GA is good. Yeah. In a game where you've lost that lead and now you're basically fighting around your team with your team and they need a bit of frontline. A Randuin's on Xin Zhao is really good as well. Right. Now we just need to push it up and siege essentially. He's rage splitting on the top side, obviously. Baron up. Arcane Shift repositioning, wait for the mid lane, join him in the bot lane. That's why we have a 0-4-1. Perfectly done. Are they just AFKs? Or just not paying attention? Or did they give in? I don't know. It's really weird, this game. Both teams kind of really odd mid to late game decision making and picks, and just everyone's looking to fight the whole time. Which I get, but not always a fan of it. You know that. I like to see a bit of good PvP and a bit of good macro. Good target selection as best we can. Just try and frontline this as best you can. Let your center heal you. Let the Jinx, the center, and the Twisted Fate do things from the back line. You and the Renekton. Frontline beefcakes. Go in and out. Make sure you get your stuns. Very, very nicely done. And beautifully executed to finish. And the Ocean Drake coming in with the Mountain Drake plus the heck. I mean, this is a good 3-stack Drake, right? If you're going to have 3 Drakes, these are the 3 Drakes you want. Very, very well played in the end. Good KDA. Not the perfect early game, not the perfect late game that we probably would have wanted, but good early game, nice and strong. You know, make sure you're farming in the mid game and keeping that lead healthy. Don't over push to the point where you're griefing by not tracking where people are. Even in the replay when I'm looking at things, you miss it, you know, but in game, be hyper focused on that. Really focus intently when you're pushing stuff where the enemy team is and what you can do about it. So, Xin Zhao, the buffs, subtle, effective, not going to change his reality, still going to struggle a little bit, but I think in those cases, late game, where you're snowballing and enjoying a bit of a lead, I think you're going to have a little bit of a better time, but it's not going to really fix his issues in the meta. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like, share, comment, and let me know what other champions you want to see. Obviously, I cover every champion. Main channel is linked below. Coaching is linked below. And as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.